Hello, and welcome, you guys. I am super excited to be here with you guys. I'm always really excited anytime I'm able to jump on and just spend this time with you. For those of you that are new, my name is Stephanie Poole. I am the founder of Birth Prep Academy, where we help pregnant women prepare for their very first hospital birth. We're going to jump into some really juicy stuff today. I'm going to be talking about doing skin to skin. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why this should be an absolute no brainer. An absolute no brainer. Before I actually get into those reasons, I want to remind you that I do have a free guide on how to pack your hospital bag. So if you are new and you are looking to start prepping for your very first birth, but you don't know where to get started, this guide is it's for you. You can check it out at Birth Prep Academy /hospital bag. Again, that's Birth Prep Academy /hospital bag. All right, we got all of that out the way. Now it's time to jump into why I'm even here, skin to skin. Now, this is something I'm really excited about. I love teaching on it. Y'all, you should see my desk. I have literally like notes everywhere because there's some things that I really want to share with you. I know that they will be of value. I don't want to leave anything out. So if you see me looking around, it's because I'm just trying to refer to my notes to make sure that I cover everything that I want to cover today. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to be talking about skin to skin. And the reason why this is so important to me is because it's a simple way to get a lot of bang for your buck. That's it. It really is a no brainer. Now, before we jump into the 5 reasons why it's a no brainer, let me just kind of give you a lay of the land so that we all start on square one, which is to have that understanding of what skin to skin is. That way, throughout this episode, as I'm going through, if you hear me reference skin to skin, you'll know the technique that I'm talking about. So, the definition is basically where you take the baby and lay the baby directly onto the mother's bare chest after birth or thereafter, because we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But you want to lay the baby on the mom's bare chest and then take a warm blanket and just keep the baby there on the mom's chest, covered with the blanket for at least an hour or until after you're feeding. Okay. You will see also in some of the reasons that I give that skin to skin and breastfeeding really tend to go hand in hand. And for all intents and purposes, that is the technique I'm talking about. Now, this technique was originally started like in the 1970s. It's been around since the beginning of time and people did it, but we really didn't have a name for it. There really wasn't a lot of research around it until about the 1970s. And in Colombia, there were a few doctors who ran out of incubators and instead grabbed the mom and had those moms put their babies to the breast. And when they did that, they realized from observation that those babies actually thrived. They were actually even doing better than the babies in the incubators. So what kind of was a patch job initially ended up resulting in them being able to realize that the babies were thriving because of the skin to skin contact. Now, initially, when they noticed this, the phrase was termed kangaroo mother care. It was the kangaroo mother method. So initially, that's where we get that whole idea from. The technique was then coined and created then. It went on to include breastfeeding and instruction, and then eventually they just removed the kangaroo mother method to kangaroo care, and then kangaroo care eventually evolved into skin to skin contact. So I really wanted to start there and give you some type of context so that when I jump into the reasons of why this is essentially a no-brainer for new moms to do, that we would all be on the same page as far as what I'm talking about. So we're talking about skin to skin, laying the baby bare chest on the mom, covering with a blanket for at least an hour or until after a feeding. Okay. That is the technique. It started out as kangaroo mother care and has evolved over the years to become skin to skin contact. All right. So, the very first reason why this should be an absolute no brainer for you is simply because number one, it's simple and effective. You don't need a lot of equipment. You don't need a lot of fancy apps on the phone to do it or anything. You don't need a lot of people to assist. It's literally just you and the baby having that skin to skin, that one-on-one time. So it's simple and there's so many benefits, which we're now going to jump into, that it just makes it a no-brainer. So number one is that it's super simple and it's super effective. Number two is that there are a whole host of benefits for both mom and baby. And whenever we can hit that sweet spot of something that's good for both you and your baby, I'm here for it. I am here for it all day. But some of the benefits for the baby specifically is that they tend to absorb and digest their nutrients better. They have what's called thermal regulation, which is they're able to maintain their body temperature. So newborns really struggle with that once they're born and outside of the womb. But skin to skin contact really helps them to regulate their body temperature. So that's very important. Newborns who have skin to skin tend to cry less often. They have improved weight gain. They have a more stable heartbeat and breathing, a higher blood oxygen level. They spend increased time in a deep sleep, which is really good, especially in their immediate postpartum as they're starting to get into that sleeping pattern. And then also, they have stronger immune systems, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. And they are typically more successful at breastfeeding, especially immediately after birth. Now, this is just a few. This is just a few of the benefits that you'll find for the baby. But those were some of the more prominent ones that I wanted to bring to your attention. Now, for the mother, there's a few benefits as well, which is they experience more positive breastfeeding. So their occurrence with breastfeeding is more positive because the baby is there. And especially immediately after birth, they are likely to be able to latch and start that breastfeeding process. Others who do skin to skin tend to have an improved breast milk production. That's huge because so many mothers really struggle with the production of their milk. So just know that doing skin to skin will really improve your chances of having good milk production. Also, we know from research, and another thing that I like to really point out whenever I'm doing this is that I only teach evidence based curriculum. So, this is not my thought. This is not like just something I'm scribbling down. This is something that you will find that your healthcare provider, wherever you are, will be able to really work well with this information because this is the real deal. So with that being said, another thing that has been found with research and skin to skin is the fact that moms who do skin to skin, let me get this right, have reduced postpartum bleeding and a lower risk of postpartum depression. Now, I'm 2 kids in, so I know all about the baby blues and how hard that can be. But doing skin to skin will help certain hormones to regulate. And that is what a lot of researchers are attributing to mothers who do skin to skin being a little less likely to experience that severe postpartum depression. So that we went over benefits for the baby, and those are a few benefits for the mom as well. Now, number 3, we are moving on. This train has taken off, left the station, and we are almost there, guys. Number 3 is that skin to skin really helps to improve the health of sick babies. Y'all, let me say this again for the mamas in the back who may not have heard it. No matter if you're having a baby preterm, which is before the 40 weeks, if your baby is low weight or other health issues, or if you have a full term baby, the benefits are there. The benefits are there. Why? Because when you're doing skin to skin, the baby can take on some of your antibodies. They do that through their skin and through the breast milk. Now, here are more notes, so I want to make sure I get this right. Skin to skin contact also increases the baby's hydration, and that hydration provides a protective barrier which prevents harmful bacteria from entering through the baby's skin, which gives them the stronger immune system. So it literally improves the baby's health by giving them a stronger immune system from the antibodies in your breast milk and that they get in the skin as well. Okay. Now, number 4, so far we've talked about how simple and effective it is. We've talked about the fact that there's a sweet spot because there are benefits for the mom and the baby. We've talked about how it improves the health of sick babies. And I just want to go back to what we talked about originally when it was really observed and researched, given that initial term of kangaroo mother method in Colombia. They noticed that those babies thrived. And later research has shown that babies with pre-existing conditions when they're born do better with skin to skin than in the incubator. So again, that goes back to just confirm that initial research when we first started coining the term and really wrapping our observations around how well these babies were doing. So it's beneficial whether or not you have a healthy baby or a baby with any kind of health conditions. And I also want to put this note in there as well, because I think this is really of value. And I think a lot of moms may not necessarily think about it when they're in labor, delivery, and during the childbirthing process. And that is this. This is also something that you can do if your birth results in having a C-section. What do I mean by that? Optimally, I want all my mamas to be able to have a successful, safe, and happy natural birth. That is my goal. That's the goalpost. That's what I want for you. But when you are laboring, when you are going through the childbirth process, sometimes things happen due to your health or the health of the baby, and it causes certain situations to arise. And sometimes those situations may result in you having to have a C-section to deliver the baby. Maybe you're not progressing in your labor. There are things you can do. I have more content coming that we can try to really get things going. But let's just say, for the purpose of this conversation, you've now resulted to having to have a C-section. That is the option you're talking about with your doctor, okay? I want you to really know in advance that you can still advocate to have skin-to-skin contact with your baby, even if you have to result to having a C-section for birth. And I want to put that out there because I think sometimes if you have this idea of having a natural, healthy, happy birth, and you don't necessarily meet that goal because of health conditions, like I said, for either you or for the baby, then sometimes you feel like you got to throw everything out. And what I'm saying is try to preserve as much as you can. And it's beneficial to have this in your mind so you can advocate for it. A lot of healthcare providers are not just necessarily saying about you in the hospital. They have other moms that they're responsible for. So it's helpful when you know what you want and you can advocate that for you and for your baby. And oftentimes, the minute you bring it up, if you have to bring it up, because there are a lot of good healthcare providers that will tell you this is what's best, we're going to do this right after birth. But in the event that things get busy, there are other moms giving birth at the same time as you, and that's not necessarily given to you as an option. Just know that you have the right to advocate for that because there are benefits to it, regardless of how you deliver. Once the baby is born, there's benefits for you and for the baby to have that skin to skin contact. So I just wanted to put that out there because it's important to know, and you kind of have to know it up front because once things get rocking and rolling, it's hard to really make the decision in real time. Things can get away from you. So just know that is still an option regardless of how you have to deliver the baby. All right, we are moving on to reason number 4. Reason number 4, why skin to skin should be an absolute no-brainer for you. And this one is near and dear to my heart. And the reason why is because I just believe in really utilizing the things that you can control, things that you can really work to enhance to make things better that are simple and effective, like skin to skin. And number 4 is that babies who experience skin to skin, it really helps to jumpstart their breastfeeding journey. I'm gonna just pause right there. I'm gonna just pause right there because that is powerful. When you do skin to skin, it literally helps to jumpstart the breastfeeding journey. And now let me explain to you why. And there's 2 reasons. Again, I have literally like a ton of notes. So I just want to make sure that we don't miss this. So one of the first reasons why is because as soon as you have a baby and the baby is placed on you for skin to skin, your breasts emit hormones to help the baby to find the breast to feed. Most people don't know that. In other words, the baby is not just randomly looking for a breast. They smell your breast and the hormones that your breast are giving off right after birth. And that is what leads them during that hour after childbirth. It leads them to your breast. And from there, they are able to get sustenance. So right from the beginning, they're training themselves that when I go to mommy's breast, I can get sustenance. That is powerful. That not only helps them to feed like their natural desire to suck and to feed, but it also helps them with their brain development. This is research based. This is what we know for a fact that it helps them. And this is why they thrive, because it's not just the physical contact they're getting, it's the stimulus that their brain is getting when they start to breastfeed. Okay. When they're put to their mom's chest and then they are able to do what's called rooting. And within that first hour, they smell the hormones and they start to try to find the breast. So that's number 1. Number 2, it also stimulates their brain because once they do find the breast and they are attached, they start to look at you. And that creates a stimulus for their brain as well, emotional and social. So now you started to have certain triggers, right, to happen for your baby to be stimulated, not just with their physical needs, but their emotional needs and their brain development as well, which is why, again, we go back to what we started at the beginning in saying that those babies tend to thrive even better than the ones that are just getting standard medical care when they're in the hospital. Okay. So this is very important. Now, the other part of that Okay, that's the benefits for the baby. But now we're going to talk about how it helps to jumpstart the breastfeeding journey because of milk supply. Within that first hour, it's so important to put the baby to breast. This is what triggers your body to say, my baby needs me. My baby needs me. There's a stimulus to the nipple, which has you to then get into milk production. The colostrum starts to come out, which is totally all they need in the first few days. And when you continue to put the baby to the breast, more milk is being produced. It's a reinforcement because breastfeeding does not happen where it will come first and then the baby eats. That's not how breastfeeding works. The more you put the baby to the breast, the more your body is triggered to say, I got to make more milk. That's how breastfeeding works. So, literally, doing skin to skin is, again, this is number 4, it helps to jumpstart your breastfeeding journey. Okay. All right. Now, if you are interested, I just want to put this in there too, that inside of my bundle, we go over all of this and breastfeeding, especially within that first hour, so that you don't miss that important time, right? So with that being said, if you're interested, be sure to check the description below and that information is in there. All right. So now we're bringing it home, guys. This is number 5. The 5th reason why it's important for you to do skin to skin and why it should be a complete and total no-brainer is because you don't have to be the primary person to do it. So what do I mean by that? When you do skin to skin, it should primarily be you, especially in the beginning, because you want to optimize getting a jump start on your breastfeeding journey. But after you get home, and we'll talk about this in just a quick second, like how long you should even do skin to skin. But initially, when you get home, after that first hour, even, if you are not available to do skin to skin, or if you are, maybe you're pumping, okay, and you're bottle feeding, or maybe for whatever reasons, you're not able to do breastfeeding, and so you will be exclusively bottle feeding, no worries, because your baby will still get the other benefits of doing skin to skin. So there's benefits regardless. You just need to have someone to do it. Now, the reason why this particular reason is so cool is because there are people around that are so excited that you just had a baby, and they are literally chomping at the bit to figure out how to support you. This is one way that is just so simple, so easy, so effective. It does not necessarily have to be you. And so why not utilize having your support person to do the skin to skin? Maybe that means that you're able to get a quick nap. Maybe that means that you are able to take a shower or go for a quick walk while they spend time with the baby. Yeah, this one is a complete no-brainer that you actually are able to get someone to help you support your baby without necessarily even having to do it every single time all by yourself. And it's a good way, like I said, to include other people who truly who love you and who loves the baby. That is number 5. I just want to do a real quick recap so that you can put this all together and how it works. Number 1, skin to skin is simple and it's highly effective. So it's simple and effective. There are benefits for both you and the baby, which is that sweet spot we talked about. Number 3, it improves the health of sick babies. Number 4, it jumpstarts your breastfeeding journey, which you really want to do sooner than later because you really want to be able to ramp up that milk production and get the healthy milk supply right from the beginning. You don't want to miss any opportunities. And you can include your loved ones to help you with this while you take a rest, a nap, go for a walk, take a shower. Those first few days can be overwhelming because you're doing so much around the clock, that having someone there that could help out by simply doing skin to skin contact while you grab a quick shower, it means the world. In that moment, that's everything. So I hope this was of value for you. I am available to have more about this conversation. I could literally talk about it all day. So you can definitely send me a DM over on Instagram at Birth Prep Academy. Or again, I have the free guide of how to pack your hospital bag at Birth Prep Academy / bag. And yeah, thank you for joining me. It's always a complete pleasure. Until next time, take care.